Assemble. All dreams are heading one way.
Planetary movement aligning.
All passion, all fire.
Because here we play different.
Choose your side.
Time to wake up.
Show your colors.
Bring your flag.
And we welcome you to Morocco.
You guys ready?
Time to wake up.
The Senior Citizens Grant under the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment SAGE program is Uganda's social protection flagship program, providing regular, predictable, and reliable direct income support to older persons. Since inception in 2010, the SAGE program has positively impacted beneficiaries' livelihoods, contributing to the overall national socio-economic transformation. The government of Uganda has continued to fulfill its commitment to the expansion and sustainability of the SAGE program, ensuring income security, dignity, and improved basic standard of living for older persons in all local governments across the country.
Siriya Kyazike. Nina emyaka 86. Omuluka Kabakedi. Ombola Yeruwero. Disitulikiti Yeruwero. Kubanga engeri gye byantegeeza nze awo nagaanira ne ngamba sina nagenda mu ebyo n'abaana sinnabagamba bwe yagira ki abaana ne mbagamba ne bagamba mama genda ne banzikiriza. Sente ze nakafuna ndowooza giri emitwalo nga 6 oba zisobamu. Awo sikyajjukira bulungi kubanga nze kazitanzifuna naye nkola ebalirya ne mmanya nti zituuse bwe ziti ne nziteeka awo ku kayumba kange ako ne ngamba oluvannyuma ndifunamu ate ekigenda mu maaso naye nga sizizizza ku mmwaba kuzoonoona. Nzizimbyemu akayumba ennyumba yange sente ezo ekyokunyamba mu bukadde bwange ofuna omupangisa ng'oyo ng'omuteekamu ng'ofuna ebintu byongebyo ng'oterekamu abaana bazze bakuŋŋaanye. Era nsaba buyambi bunyingire kano nkaggale nakali nkaggale n'okulongoosa bwe buba buwedde awo kale ng'ate empulaninga ebirala wali. Neebaza nnyo nnyo era nsiima ne ssekusiima kubanga ssinza kukisuula wadde nange nnyongerako naye ziri ze zisinga okumpagira.
This is a message from Expanding Social Protection, ESP, implementing the program under the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. ESP, better life chances for all. The Senior Citizens Grant under the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment SAGE program is Uganda's social protection flagship program, providing regular, predictable, and reliable direct income support to older persons. Since inception in 2010, the SAGE program has positively impacted beneficiaries' livelihoods, contributing to the overall national socio-economic transformation. The government of Uganda has continued to fulfill its commitment to the expansion and sustainability of the SAGE program, ensuring income security, dignity and improved basic standard of living for older persons in all local governments across the country.
Amabara gange Irene Masika bagenda eya bagenda nile mwira wawe akasente kenye kanyiyambiremu kakubaire nikanyiyambamu baitu ako kubanza mbona nagule mbuzi bagitwara nagule nkoko nazo baziba hati akubambaire reno nisubura mwakasura tinje yina mani gokolema ngonza nyikalo mukatale mbono tuhimba ngotu tunsanga hangeto enda hangeto niha kasukali kokunyu niko nduko ndukanyiyamba kati amani gokolema tinje yina ngamusima senga uta bisubulero ni musima nyo ni musima abereho abieho ni musima mono.
This is a message from Expanding Social Protection, ESP, implementing the program under the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. ESP, better life chances for all.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Morning Uganda, thank you so much for watching UBC TV. It's time for The Real and welcome back from that short break. Reminding you that the show is brought to you by Uganda Coffee, courtesy of the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Husbandry and Animal Industry, and Fisheries. My name is Julie F. Nantaba. This morning we're having a conversation on the role that the youth can play in promoting peace during and after elections. 0709-602-592 to the WhatsApp number that you should engage and be part of the conversation. 75% of Uganda is youth populated. That means we're the biggest number serving, working, adding value as, of course, the senior citizens take time off to rest and us looking after them, serving them. That means there's a lot of role that youth have to play in making policies in this current week that we are part of. Of course, even in the after, the voting season, there's a whole big role that the youth have to play to make sure that they make a change or make a change for the better for their country, Uganda. That's why we have this conversation. Now in studio with me, it's Mr. Timothy Ocheng, who is the lawyer from the National Youth Council, and Ms. Asimo Hillary, who is the Secretary for Female Youth at the National Youth Council, to have this conversation. Good morning, Mr. Ocheng.
Oh, good morning, Madam Julie. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you? It's a pleasure having you this morning. Ms. Asimo, pleasure having you this morning.
Oh, it's a pleasure too.
Right, and I'll start with the both of you to give me perspective, starting with you, Ms. Asimo. What do you interpret peaceful elections as?
Okay, thank you. Thank you once again, and a good morning to our viewers. I am happy to be part of this show to share my insights about peace, because as the youth, it is important that we know that having a peaceful country is good for us socially, economically, and that we hold, just like she mentioned, that we are holding the biggest percentage of this population right now, with over 70% being youth. So whatever decision that we make right now is crucial. It can be an act of peace, an act of violence, but usually, for this election, the youth choices will determine how that goes. So to me, peace, like she has asked, peace is not just, it is not just absence of violence. To the government, it is having justice. To the youth people, it is engaging and not sharing misinformation on socials. And because these are some of the things that will lead us to violence. The moment you share something and without having proof of what you're sharing or without verifying, it is going to incite, it is going to cause someone out there to look into what you have shared and maybe possibly use it, the youth turn into tools of violence because of the information that you have shared. So to me, peace, basically, it is not just absence of violence, but it is more of not having justice. It is more of sharing information. It is more of people coming into young people and using them as tools of violence against just, because youth are very vulnerable to manipulation and the likes.
Very profound. Coming to you, Mr. Ocheng, what do you interpret peace as during this election season?
Thank you, Madam Julie. We are all aware that by Thursday, this country will be deciding, and we've been having the process ongoing, and we still appeal that on Thursday and thereafter, we should have state of harmony, state of tranquility, and avoidance of any form of violence, any form of peace disturbance, and that's what I regard as peace.
0709-602-592. Do share, what do you regard as a peaceful election as a youth in this season? Now, coming to you, Ms. Asimwe, how do you suggest that elections affect young people differently from other groups of people?
Okay. Back to our point of discussion being that the youth are that are holding the largest part of this population.
Right.
You're going to find that between 18 and 30 years, that is about 22.7% of the of that population, and most of them or some of them are going to be first-time voters. So they're coming with the energy, with the vibrancy. They want to show the world that, okay, I'm also going to cast my vote for the first time. And some of them are having so much hope into this election. So for the youth, it's a first-time experience. A big number of them, it is a first-time experience, and they're having hope. So the violence, when you come back to violence, whatever situation, why for me I defined peace as something as absence of justice. I mean, rather not just an act of violence, but just maybe absence of presence of justice, is that the government has a role to play. Us as the youth have a role to play. So when you look into this election, our role is to avoid manipulation. Our role is to look beyond the election. Our role is to look beyond 15th, that we have a country to protect. We have a future to protect. We have, the future is in our hands, and we cannot lose it through violence. We do not have to lose or shed blood for any politician. It is not worth it. And I hope that the young people out there can note it down, that the viewers watching us can realize how important their lives are, how important their future is, and know that they are tools, and they're being used as tools of manipulation. Some political parties use the young people, their vibrancy, their energy to incite a certain type of violence. And then the youth come out as if they are violent. No, we are not violent. But the manipulation caused by because people look at the presence of poverty among the youth and the high levels of unemployment and use it against them, offering small tokens to do certain things. So with the proper empowerment, with proper sense of direction, I believe that the youth can actually be a solution to peace rather than to violence.
Very profound point you make there. Direction is needed. And of course, you do not have to lose or shed blood for any politician. That's a quote I've picked right from Ms. Asimwe Hillary, who is the Secretary for Female Youth Council at the National Youth Council. And I'm also with Mr. Ocheng Timothy, who is a lawyer at the National Youth Council. 0709-602-592 is the WhatsApp number that you should engage and be part of the conversation. And the show is proudly brought to you by the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, courtesy of, as they make sure that we get to enjoy Uganda coffee this morning hoping that you are also sipping on some as you watch the show. Now, Mr. Ocheng, how can youth leaders influence their peers into rejecting violence, but also rejecting intimidation at the same time?
Thank you very much, Madam Julie. That comes squarely on the civic awareness of youth leaders. That it takes a sober mind to realize that election is a circle, that every time you go through it, that it's not definite that if you go through an election, it is all do or die, that whoever you support must go through. If they don't go through, you have to go out in arms, and that's not true. So the youth leaders outside there, first is to promote civic awareness. What does it require for you to support someone or to vote for someone? What do you benefit from such, and how is such a person requesting you to support or vote or protect or do whatever you have to do within the scope of the law? Secondly, what do you benefit from this? Most of the youth outside there think or believe this election period, if someone offers you 5,000, 10,000, that is sufficient. But I think the most important question should be, what will your next 5 years look like? What are you voting for? Because it is paramount on us to shape how our next 5 years, because it's only after the next 5 years that you will again have to decide on who will be your leader. But currently, civic awareness, containing and diffusing any form of violence or peace disturbance within your various areas, because it matters to you most than it matters to someone who is far away from where that violence might erupt from. So the youth leaders outside there, we have seen several of them trying to engage in civic education, promotion of peace, and trying to engage various actors, state, political parties, and the candidates to see that we go through this process in a peaceful manner.
Right. And it matters to you most, as Mr. Ocheng points it out. Where you are, it matters to you most, more than it matters to anyone else who's far away from you. And indeed, it's the reality, if you think about it. We are having a conversation on the role of the youth during this election in promoting peace and after. Hello, my name is Mujuni Joshua. An election is peaceful when disagreement does not turn into violence and democracy continues to function before, during, and after the vote. Thank you, Joshua, for being on the show. Mr. Simwe, you talked about empowering the youth. In this season, what does it translate to? How best can the youth be empowered?
Okay, you see, like my colleagues say, civic education is quite important. And I actually earlier mentioned that most of our youth, or some of them, are going to be first-time voters. And that also it is important to know the voting age, that it is 18 and above. So to this season, to the youth, the empowerment is knowing, how do I cast my vote? After casting my vote, where do I go? And also, for them to know that if my candidate does not make it through, it is the will of the people that whoever has made it through is the best candidate. So they should appreciate that. And this is our role now as leaders, to let them know that it is okay. My candidate has not made it. Next time is there. I have life after the election, and that is part of empowering. And on the government side, it is also important that the government gives us a leveraging ground where we the youth, the candidates, or even the journalists feel safe to be in the to be around the polling stations, to be able, for you journalists to be able to cover the news freely without feeling intimidated, not only to the youth. So empowerment comes from so many corners. It comes from having knowledge about the election. It comes from knowing that, like he said, that not accepting tokens to vote, because your vote is more valuable than the little token that you're getting after that election, and that your vote matters. Whatever you're going, when you cast your vote, it is going to be the change, or it is going to be the choice you have made for the next 5 years. And this is a vote that is going to affect you economically, socially, your stability in general. So it is quite important to know how valuable your vote is. And empowerment, I can go on and on about it, but it is basically having knowledge about the election, valuing your vote as a voter, and knowing how much important it is towards you as an individual after the election.
Very profound indeed. Now, finally, as we begin to close this conversation, Mr. Ocheng, in this day and age, the youth are affected by social media. It's a tool that is either being used well or not. And as Mr. Simwe was talking about the fact that many of the youth, it's either their first time, for most, it's their first time to vote. I'm reminded of a statement that someone recently made to me, a very young person. They told me that in 2021, they voted out of emotions. They were ready to, there was that whole excitement to vote. But this time around, they're not really into it. They're really laid back about it. They're not even looking forward to voting. And I'll first pose it to you as you also prepare your parting shots, Ms. Asimwe. I'll first pose it to you that civic education, as you've rightly put it, versus emotional education or emotional voting. How best do you think the youth can be empowered, especially in this day and age of social media? All form of and manner of information is flying left, right, and center. Fact-checking is less. How do you think the youth can best be helped, empowered, and also directed to the right channel in the midst of all this chaos?
Thank you very much. Someone who told you that that 2021 election was driven by emotion, I think it is partly true, because literally each and every election is driven by emotion. In political science, we have how we run an election. You decide on what agenda are you going to sell. Are you going to ride on emotions? Are you going to build a directive agenda built on a substantive manifesto? Are you going to ride on circumstances or instances? So depends on the political party or the candidate, what the society looks like, because you run an election depending on what the society is like. So if to the young people outside there, the reality is not on the social media. That's not true. The reality is what you see where you are. If you have a candidate you supported, you voted for, you defended their right to participate in that electoral process, and the person probably loses, take what you've seen, take the results you have from where you've participated. Don't take the result you've seen on the social media that somehow, I come from Tororo, that in Tororo, one candidate, Timothy Ocheng, has lost. But you read from social media that that same candidate has overwhelmingly won in Kapelebyong, until the Electoral Commission pronounces itself on such a result. We treat each and everything that is happening on social media as anything that you would craft up.
Right.
It might be right, it might be wrong. So until the Electoral Commission comes up and pronounces itself on that result, affirming it or moving away from that result, take what you have at your polling station.
All right. Very profound. Now, grateful to the time that we've been added, so I'm looking forward to enjoying more of this conversation. And we're having a conversation on the role of youth in promoting peace during and after elections. In studio with me is Timothy Ocheng, who is a lawyer from the National Youth Council, and Asimwe Hillary, who is the Secretary for Female Youth Council at the National Youth Council. Now, yours is to join by sending a message, text, WhatsApp message rather, 0709602592, and be part of the conversation. I'll read a comment coming from Odaro Vincent, who says, "Good morning, Uganda. This is Odaro Vincent from Tororo. The youth and all people should embrace peace and unity by condemning violence in the strongest term possible, because elections come and go. Leaders are chosen by God." Thank you, Odaro Vincent, for being on the show and sharing your opinion. Now, Mr. Simwe, what tools is the National Youth Council applying to speak to youth, to empower youth, to align fellow youths in making sure that there's peace during this season, even in the aftermath?
Okay, so as the National Youth Council, our role is to mobilize the youth leaders, civic engagement, education on voters' rights and engagement, basically putting together the youth leaders and telling them, go back into your communities. You see, the National Youth Council is a body that, it's an umbrella body of all the youth and has leadership right from the village to the district level. Now for me, I represent at the national level, but I have my delegates back at the districts. So my role is now to talk to them because I can easily access them and then give them information to take back to their districts and tell their young people, you know, it is not worth it shedding your blood over a politician. This is how you're going to vote, and these are the outcomes, and if this is the outcome, do this and this. So our role as the National Youth Council is to go back into our communities, mobilize our youth peacefully, and encourage them to cast their vote as they see it fit to the right candidate they think it is, and also to basically teach them the entire process.
Right.
And that is what we are doing.
Right. Good morning, Uganda. Please, let's say no to violence. Let's say no to violence during election, because after elections, life will still exist. Remember, you have one life, no spare part. So let's stay away from violence. But okay, you're asking for the name of the app for monitoring MPs. Okay, that is Events Gallery app. Events Gallery app. It's I think the app that you mean, and you say that you're Ronald Okum from Dokolo. Ronald, thank you so much for watching the show and being part of it. Mr. Ocheng, as a lawyer, the Electoral Commission has advised all of us, after casting our votes, we leave and come back at 4 when it's time to vote. Many of the youth, many of the politicians are saying that the Constitution states that after voting, you can stay but at a distance of 20 meters away. And many are indeed insisting as to what the Constitution allows them to do. The Electoral Commission has also laid its own rule for that day. And of course, with this energy, the youth are very part of it. As a lawyer, speaking to this, what exactly should one do? And especially as a youth, because one of the things is there's emotions for many of us. We say to Jakoma Kaluluka farewell. You know, there's a lot that comes into mind. And in the writing of the history of Uganda. So as a lawyer, speaking to this.
Yeah, thank you very much. It is paramount to note that ultimately, the supreme law of this land is not the Electoral Commission, it's the Constitution. And once the Constitution dictates, we go by the dictates of the Constitution. So if the Electoral Commission thinks otherwise, that the prescribed distance from the polling station that one is permitted to stay around is to them not justifiable, the just cause to them would be first challenge, petition to Constitutional Court to review that position, and thereafter prescribe what they need to be done. But it is also foolhardy to want to believe that the law exists in vacuum. That if the law dictates and there are no mechanism of modifying here and there, probably that's what the law is supposed to mean. That's not true. The law exists within the structure of our communities or our societies. So if the law prescribes that this is the range by which you're allowed to be here, and the implementers, because ultimately the law goes back to who will enforce. If the enforcers of this provision are saying, due to the circumstances here and there, this distance might not be sustained, given by the numbers, by the circumstance, by the atmosphere, probably they add you, like, if it is 20 meters, add you more 20 meters. It's just about, logically, we are 100 in a space that can't accommodate 100 in the 20-meter distance, and the enforcers are saying, add us more space. Please comply, because if we go by dialogue here and there, that's why we shall end up having a process that you will benefit from, I will benefit from, and the society will benefit from.
And when you say that, Timothy, it reminds me of the saying that the law does not exercise ignorance. You might not know it, but because, I mean, I've hosted EC officials here who make statements, who will make mention of the fact that given the circumstance of what polling stations look like, and many youths tend to be rowdy, some of them climb on top of trees to monitor what other people are voting, and because polling stations are village related, you know each other, it could also lead to violence in the aftermath. They chose that after voting, please go home. However, many are saying the Constitution says it, and when you put it that, of course, the Constitution also allows governments of situations as by logic and at hand, indeed the law does not exercise ignorance, so we ought to be careful as we exercise our rights, coming with duty and responsibility. Good morning, Uganda. This is James Foundation from Kumi, Kanyum County. I pray let's vote peaceful because it's God who chooses leaders, and above all, we need each other apart from elections. Thank you so much for God and my country. Thank you for being on the show, James Foundations. Mr. Simwe, as the National Youth Council, what are there examples or cases that you've dealt with that you can make mention of that have come due to violence, either during elections or anything political in line with that?
Well, at the moment, you know, we have recently held an election. We have recently been gazetted. We are a new leadership as part, the one I am part of, a new National Executive Committee. And we haven't experienced yet any acts of violence. However, I believe you've been seeing rounds on social media about some of the colleagues that subscribe to the NRM party peacefully coming out to express how they feel about being left out during the mobilization of their president. They feel like they should be empowered. They felt like they should be a part of the process that brings back their candidate onto the seat. And peacefully, they reached out to media. They also moved from Makere to Secretariat, NRM Secretariat in Chadondo, very peacefully. And at the front line, there is another one of our leaders who was leading them, one of the people that we sit with on the council. So this shows you that for us, we are not here to make violence a point. We are here to advance our issues peacefully, and that will be our tenure.
Right.
That we shall reach out to the press, that we shall advocate peacefully, and that we condemn any forms of violence, but our voices shall be heard. We shall reach out to the stakeholders with our ideas. We shall fight with ideas and not fists. And that is what the National Youth Council executive or National Youth Council at large leaders are going to advocate for.
Very profound. We shall fight with ideas and not fists. That's profound indeed. Mr. Ocheng, what lessons do you think the leaders of the National Youth Council, or youth leaders altogether, plus youth in general, should learn from the past elections and implement those lessons in this season?
First and foremost, and most importantly, the lesson that elections come and go, but we stay. Regardless of what happened in 2021, if by God's grace you survive that process, that's a lesson to learn from. That indeed it is okay to vote for someone and the person wins and the person rules, another electoral cycle comes, you vote for the person and the person wins, or it is also okay to stand with someone, support the person, vote for the person, and the person doesn't go through and life continues. I have a friend who supports a particular candidate. The candidate has minimal support, very minimal, but the person says, I just support this person because of the ideals the person represents. The person resonates with me, not because he's going to win, not because the person has offered some token. No, the person talks to my inner soul.
Right.
So it's not about I have to support one Timothy Ocheng to win. I stand for, and that is, in democracy, that is the most important thing. So everything that happens, like we have in 2021, we saw kind of violence. Some people lost their lives in unjustifiable circumstances, and mostly the young people. But I want to plead to my young people that what we have in stake is so complex, more than just a mere election. In this country, literally at 22, 23 is when your life begins. And it can be so unfortunate that it's when you terminate the life or decide to participate in I can't say reckless, because it would come out as if someone wants to die, as if it is suicide. But any circumstance that puts your life in danger, that you can ultimately navigate it, please avoid that such, because 2031 we are here, 20, like, as
and
long
you
as
have to grow.
Yeah, that is it.
And you have a purpose to fulfill. When you say that, you remind me of I don't know if it's a generational conversation or mindset, but a couple of Gen Zs tend to care less if they lose their lives. And I don't know what brings about this mindset, but I've had conversations, you know, with those who are really younger, the Gen Zs, and they'll tell you, oh, well, I've lived and I'm still living, but if I die today, well, it's okay. Yes, please.
I think that comes from a sense of hopelessness. That you've lived, I've studied, graduated, become unemployed. I live by the day that comes. I don't see beyond tomorrow, so I'm hopeless. Like, if some opportunity presents itself, however risky it might be, so long as there is a 1% chance that I might go through it. Like, if I engage a military officer with a gun, and I know that there is an exit route here, but the person has a cocked gun, and I think I can run through that door, I will try to
use that
opportunity. Hopelessness.
Yes.
It causes all this. Even the youth being used in all this process, it's because they don't have what to lose. But in life, once you have something to lose, you be very cautious in whatever step you take. Yeah.
Mr. Simwe, let's come to the civic engagements that the both of you have talked about. What are the spaces available for these civic engagements and to allow the youth come be part of them?
We have, you know, now majority of the youth use social media.
Right.
And we recently held a dialogue on online GBV. Well, it might have been it's not just online GBV, but we had talks around online harassment, misinformation, and all that. So instead of spreading misinformation, instead of using social media to harass young women or other people online or bully them online, we can use these socials to actively engage the young people, teaching them their rights as voters, giving them all the civic engagement or education that they require. Then also, we also have council meetings that we hold. We have at the district levels, we engage our leaders to reach out to their people in smaller groups. Yeah, and that is why basically these leaders came at the front line and said we need to be empowered, because sometimes when you bring these young people together, they need a drink, a soft drink. And you know, like at our age, we don't have the money to do that. And if I'm supporting a certain candidate, say an NRM or whatever candidate, I believe that there is some facilitation that can come to help be able to cater for that small group that I've put together to be able to advance their issues. Right. So that is why these people came to the front line and said, please facilitate us. Let us be able to hold these engagements. We had some hindrance on that because we plan to put our people together and teach them. So if it is, if you can allow me, it's another humble plea that they listen to these young people's voices,
right,
and be able to finance them to be able to hold these engagements, and in the long run, it could be able to be, it could be a solution to violence in the upcoming elections.
Very profound. Mr. Ocheng, do you think the spaces that Mr. Simwe has talked about that are being availed for the youth in civic engagements and all other manner of talks are a solution to the hopelessness that you shared, that you talked about?
Definitely not.
Why so?
I think the platform that she mentions just helps to air out some of the concerning issues, but ultimately the hopelessness that we mentioned relies squarely on the state, because the state has all the mechanism of resolving this, because we mentioned what causes the hopelessness, the unemployment. It's squarely on the government to forge a way forward of how to go about that. I saw yesterday, the president was either in Kololo, and he was stating how he's planning to establish graduate fund. If you go through a university, you come out, you're employed for 2 years, you go and apply for a loan, and for a fund, and you invest, and so it is squarely on the government. But it gives us, the platform that she mentions, gives us an avenue for the concern to hear our views, our issues, and try to come in here and there to patch up and see that the youth are satisfied with the governance of this country.
Good morning, Uganda. Election needs these 4 items. We should forgive each other, number 1. Number 2, love each other to get good leaders. Number 3, biblically have faith that God is a leader in this election. Number 4, have hope that Uganda will become peaceful after election. After elections, in regards to our motto, for God and my country. Number 5, the youth should not pour blood, but you need peaceful elections. This is Reverend Captain David Katenya in Boikwe. Thank you, Reverend, for being on the show. Now, Mr. Simwe, what are your parting shots? Okay. Especially to our youth who's, like Timothy has mentioned, who's a part of these platforms that the National Youth Council avails, that the leaders avail, but is not yet empowered to be satisfied enough to just sit and hope and be active in a diplomatic manner.
Okay. As we head to the polls, and as I conclude, it is a plea to every young woman, every young man that is watching us, that I will re-echo this again, that no politician is worth your blood. And earlier you asked my colleague, and I wanted to mention something, that for the youth, being hopeless is not just being hopeless, yes, but you have people that love you. I believe everyone has someone that loves. For you, you might have lost hope, but think about that person that you're causing pain by not thinking about the outcome of you losing your life. So it is not worth it. Campaigns come, and rather elections come and go, and let us campaign with hope. Let us vote with courage and not fear, and also address issues with ideas, not fists. Because at the end of it all, we have a country to protect, we have a future to protect, and it is a call to every one of you, every young woman, protect the peace in your communities, at the polling stations, on social media. And please, let us not share wrong information. And before you share, verify. Let the EC do their work. social media is not going to be, or anyone's handle is not going to be the platform that you get information. I believe there are platforms that are credited to give the right information. So before you share and mislead another group that can be used as a tool of violence, think about the repercussions, because social media is now the greatest tool that is being used to incite violence within the young people.
Right.
Yeah, thank you, and vote wisely in the coming elections.
Right, thank you very much. That is Asimwe Hillary. She is the Secretary for Female Youth at the National Youth Council. Over to you, Mr. Ocheng, your parting shots.
Thank you very much. Wow, what can I tell the youth of this country? You see, when you're going to make that decision, the decision you're going to make should be about how you think this country should be in the next 5 years. The person you're willing to die for, ask yourself whether that person would be willing to die for you if the circumstances change. I think the only important thing now is your life. Vote wisely, vote for the person who resonates with you, vote with care, and at all points, avoid circumstances that may terminate your life. Thank you.
At all points, avoid circumstances that might terminate your life. 75% of the youth in Uganda populate Uganda. And as a youth, 18 and above, if you're going to vote, exercise your right with responsibility and duty. Some of my points as a takeaway from this conversation is the fact that you have to fight with ideas and not fists, and no politician is worth your blood. That's it from this conversation. Good morning. Good morning, Uganda does continue, so stay tuned.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Hello Uganda, I am Wes Isaac, NRM Chairman, Radio Uganda Village. I take this opportunity to inform the general public that His Excellency General Kaguta Museveni, the President of Uganda and the NRM National Chairman, is now in the Uganda region to mobilize all Ugandans to vote for him and all NRM flag bearers in 2026. I therefore call upon all Ugandans to turn up in big numbers within our communities to welcome our beloved leader and to show him our full support. Let's come together in unity, discipline, and the true spirit of the movement to demonstrate our commitment to the progress, peace, and transformation of our country under the leadership of His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the tested and trusted leader. On 15th January 2026, vote for His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and all NRM flag bearers for content development, stability, and prosperity. Long live NRM, long live General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for God and my country.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
This December, all eyes in Morocco. Africa assemble. All dreams are heading one way.
All passion, all fire.
Because here we play different.
Choose your side.
Show your colors. Bring your flag.
And we welcome you to Morocco.
You guys ready?
Program has positively impacted beneficiaries' livelihoods, contributing to the overall